Welcome to the Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast on Tobacco Road Sports Radio and TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com as part of your Wrestling Wednesday card. I'm your host, Michael Davis. And if you didn't have high expectations for Backlash in Puerto Rico or AEW's All-In event in the UK, you might have been blown out the water. Shannon Smith joins me right now on Drop the Mic to unravel all of this and so much more. Shannon, this is going to be a packed episode today. I had to bring you on. Chant, I know we talked a little bit backstage. Tell everybody how you doing.
Man, I'm doing great, man. Ready to talk this Backlash, ready to talk AEW, ready to talk wrestling. Let's do this.
Let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about Backlash. And I ended up, I write for Sports Caroline Monthly as well. So I ended up putting a Backlash review for everybody to go check out on sportscarolinemonthly.com right now. But let's go a little more in depth on this, especially podcast audio. That's my passion right there. The night started off, and let me start right here, Shan. I have to. I don't know if I was excited for this show. I don't usually get excited for shows coming off of WrestleMania because we just had the draft. It seems to be a lot of WrestleMania rematches. You're tying up a lot of loose ends. Did you have high expectations for Backlash?
I really didn't, and I feel stupid now, which we'll get into it when we go into the show. But the reason why I didn't have a lot of expectations with this Backlash or with Backlash as a whole is because if you do the history with the WWE, you know that Saturday pay-per-views do not do well. They don't do well. The Taboo Tuesday thing that they done at one point in time, that didn't do well. Doing a pay-per-view during the week didn't do well. The Saturday pay-per-views have really fallen on their face with the WWE. So that's the reason why I was kind of like, okay, when is Backlash going to be? And I was like, Saturday. I don't know. I mean, I'll give it a go. I'll see. And if with Bad Bunny being in the main event, it may not draw anybody, if you're especially that old school wrestling guy that's like, oh, WWE's going pop now, putting these stars in wrestling matches and all this. It doesn't seem like you would like it, but I really wasn't excited. I feel stupid now.
We feel really stupid. And I personally prefer the Saturday pay-per-view sometimes, only because, sometimes you got to get up for work early on Monday mornings. Yeah. Sunday church, hopefully your service starts at 10 or 11 and you can sleep in a little bit. But, going into work at like 7:30, 8 o'clock is it's not a fun time, especially staying up till 11:30 watching some wrestling. And if you didn't stay up on Saturday night to watch this pay-per-view, I feel sorry for you. It's on Peacock if you guys want to go back and rewatch it. But we're going to break down a little bit of this now because the opening match, Io Sky challenging Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. I was kind of shocked with the reaction that both of these ladies got. It felt like Puerto Rico was all behind Io Sky and not the fan favorite Raw Women's Champion.
They weren't. I mean, and what I liked about that, first of all, a little sidebar from this right here. How about Bayley going from being the lovable face a few years back to being probably one of the biggest heels, women's heels in all of wrestling? Like, she's done really, really well. Damage Control has done really, really well. They hyped up Io Sky coming in, and it was really, really good. They hyped her up real good. And I think that, and what I liked also, too, is that Bianca Belair played in with the crowd as well, too. You saw her switch to the heel. And that was cool because, going into the match, she was the face. And, of course, with Io Sky coming in with Damage Control, she was the heel, of course, because the stable is a heel stable. So, of course, she's going to come in as the heel. But the more the match heated up and all the action came in, and Io Sky looked really well in the ring. She looked really good. And Bianca Belair gave a great match. I like Io Sky. I really do. And this match pretty much set the tone for the night.
It really did. Like anyone who was following that match, and I was watching it with my buddy Chris Cox. He was on the Drop the Mic Wrestling podcast last
Yep.
week. If
Yep.
you missed that, you need to go back and watch YouTube. We debuted a new segment that's really cool. Book it better. I'll go ahead and
Yes.
spoil it for you. He had some good ideas, not as good as mine, but that's okay. We can't expect everybody to be Michael Davis. Okay, you know how I signed my name, right?
Now. Whoa. Your time is coming. As long as you deal with me, your time is coming. You're going to take an L. Especially
take
me.
an L?
Yeah, to me. You're going to take an L to me. You know what I mean? Don't get cocky now. Dude, if we do this the next time, we're going to see.
Dude, just because you take the L so many times doesn't mean you have them out to give. There's a reason.
So, okay, man, next Wednesday, you keep that same energy next Wednesday. You keep it.
I'll keep it on Wednesdays with Drop the Mic. I'll keep it on Fridays on Out Pocket. There's nothing touching me. But
you keep it.
Needless to say, that was a great show. Thank you, Chris. Chris will definitely be back on Drop the Mic.
Oh, yeah.
And I turned to him afterwards and I'm like, everybody else is going to have to follow this matchup. Like the crowd, I don't know if it was there not being a pay-per-view in Puerto Rico for so long, or if ever, or if it was just Io and Bianca just like tore the house off. And
Absolutely.
They were like, hey, follow that up. And then you follow that up with Seth and Omos. But we'll touch on that here in a couple minutes because I got some thoughts that may not be popular.
Okay.
But you mentioned Bianca started playing the heel.
Mm-hmm.
Did this remind you? Because it did me. John Cena versus Rob Van Dam back at ECW.
Whoa,
One
night stand. Oh, man. Dude, first of all, that was a classic match because you had the ECW pay-per-view. You had the ECW energy. The crowd was in it. That was one of the biggest things. See, this was probably the best crowd all year at a pay-per-view. This crowd was better than WrestleMania's crowd. And WrestleMania's crowd was electric. This crowd did a lot for all these matches here. As we touch on these matches going in, this crowd, you could tell that they were ready. You could tell that they were in it. You can tell that they were excited. They gave every match equal, if not more, energy as the night went on. And that's what made it great. Because, you have guys that, you're big-time performers, whether you're an athlete, whether you're an actor, that crowd has everything to do with your performance. Everything to do. If you're prime time, if this is a big game, Super Bowl, the NBA playoffs, the NBA finals, the NHL Stanley Cups, the World Series, the Oscars, any of that stuff there, Madison Square Garden selling out, you bring in everything you got. And this crowd did more than that. And that's what made it so great. Like the performers were the performers. We all know that.
And just like you were saying, like the crowd made this match exactly what it needed to be. And I mean, it did. Like John Cena walking into One Night Stand, he walked in and realized he was the heel, like he was holding the title above his head.
Yeah,
walking.
Man.
You might see some sunburn right here on my arms from the last couple of days.
Hey, it's all good, man.
Hey, we need to find a sunscreen sponsorship for Drop the Mic, Out Pocket, Tobacco Road Sports Radio, because these next couple of days, I'm gonna, I'm
Woo! Oh man,
I am burnt.
Oh, the summer.
Always wear your sunscreen.
Yes.
And if you don't, wear like a long sleeve shirt rather than a tank top, or just take the whole shirt off and get you all burn at once. Whatever tickles your fancy right there.
Flip it over on one side. Get one side the same way as the other, so you don't look, off color. That's not good, man.
I look a lot off color right now.
You learn from your mistakes, though. You learn from your mistakes.
And the fact that ECW was going for Rob Van Dam so hard
Yeah, when John Cena threw the T-shirt and they threw it back.
They threw it back. That's what I was going to say. Man, Shannon,
That
you're
did
still
it.
in my lines down here.
that to me was what made that match, even before the match even began. The fact that he threw it in the crowd, and John Cena ain't never had a shirt thrown back, and they freak out when he throws the shirt. That's his thing. That's what he done. And at that time, John Cena was the main attraction for WWE. And the fact that the crowd said, "We're not having this," put that title on our guy, Rob Van Dam.
And the fact the shirt thing happened twice, and I think we'll get Shan back here in a second. The fact that the T-shirt thing happened twice, that was the crazy part. And after everything, I think Io Sky might get a push here with WWE.
She should.
I don't even know if they split her up from Damage Control, but they got to be watching this now.
But put this thought in your mind as well, too. If Io Sky is with Damage Control, is Damage Control going to turn into a face?
I
mean,
like Bayley as a heel.
The heel gimmick is working, and the heel gimmick has been great. It's been great for Bayley's career big time. And that's what made it so great, is it did well for her career. But you sometimes gotta look at it. Some of these heel stables turn into faces by default because the crowd loves them. And the work that Damage Control has done over the past year or so, it's worth a shot. Why not? I mean, you're not going to turn Bayley back into what she was. Keep her with what she's doing, but you might have to explore that possibility of Damage Control becoming a face. Maybe not.
Maybe, and it's worked really well. I thought Seth Rollins was a good heel,
right?
But he's working pretty good as a face, and a lot of people were critical, including myself, about Seth Rollins versus Omos. Reason being, there was absolutely zero build, and when I say zero build, it was just spontaneously announced on a SmackDown. They're Raw superstars. They've had no interactions with each other.
None.
And they're like, let's put these two in a match at Backlash. Like, that's not how to get people excited, especially putting these guys right on after Io Sky and Bianca Belair. This was set up for disaster.
It was.
And this isn't Friday. This isn't Out of Pocket Live. So this is not an Out of Pocket take.
No.
This was the best match of Omos's career.
Oh, yeah. Hands down. Yes. And let me tell you why. Because Seth Rollins.
I think we cut out a second time on the audio with Shannon. But he's going to tell you why.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell him why, Shannon. Welcome back, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right?
So Seth Rollins really carried Omos to this, and Omos is playing to the fans not liking him. They know they don't like Omos, so he's going to go this way. He's going to be like, I'm big and I can throw this guy around.
Mm-hmm.
And there were two spots where it's like, okay, he's not just his size. He's playing to his whole character.
Exactly.
By standing on the floor, lifting Seth Rollins over his head, shout to the sunburn right now,
right,
and tossing him over the top rope back into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big time spot.
It is.
And then blocking the curb stomp by literally just being on your hands and knees.
Yes. I mean, what did it great was that when Seth Rollins had his moment to turn the match to his favor, he did it. And when Omos had the chances of being dominant, Seth Rollins made sure that he sold his dominance, sold his size, his strength, his power. But when it was Seth Rollins' turn, Seth Rollins did what Seth Rollins does. And that's what made it great. That's why Seth Rollins is such a wonderful worker, because he made Omos look good and didn't take anything away from himself. That's why.
That, you know what that boils down to? a great worker who needs to have a world championship on him.
You know what, man? That world heavyweight championship, and he did advance. So, I mean, it's open.
It's open. It's open for Seth, and I'm really, really, really hoping he gets the world heavyweight championship around his waist.
I say he's the best heel. I say, you know, Seth Rollins does great as a heel. He does great as a heel. Does great. But he's a great face as well, too. I think he's like Chris Jericho. You know, he can be a face. He can be a heel. But heel Rollins is better than face Rollins. And that's being generous. That's being very generous, in my opinion. That's being generous. Because both of them are wonderful workers. And you could work them in any way, shape, or form. Heel, face, whatever. But heel Rollins is better than face Rollins by a small margin.
I would agree so. I would agree with, because heel Seth, heist of the century, the authority Seth,
yes,
his visionary,
yes,
his Monday Night Messiah,
yes,
like, all of that stuff hit it out of the park for me. But with that song, like if he ever turns heel, he's got to get a new song. Fans love it.
Yes, and they sing it, and they sung the song while he was doing his thing. They sung the song. Still go, and that song is amazing. By the way, song is amazing. Once again, nuances to Chris Jericho, because what do they do in AEW when Chris Jericho comes out? Judas in, Judas in, Judas in, mama. Yes, come on, man. You see the parallels. You see them. You see him.
Okay. And how much Seth reinvented himself and never went stale. Jericho's done the same thing. Oh, you got me there.
It can be done. See, this stuff can be done in a different way. You know, Shawn Michaels, you know, handed it to Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho handed it to Seth Rollins. Who's Seth Rollins going to hand it to? We've got a lot of Seth Rollins left, barring injury or anything. We got a lot of Seth Rollins left.
We don't have to worry about that.
Yes.
I do not want to see a day where Seth Rollins leaves WWE or leaves wrestling in general because he's so good. But maybe it's one of these young guys like Austin Theory. Austin Theory retained his United States title against Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed. We kind of saw this coming, you know, keeping the title on SmackDown. Bronson Reed wasn't going to win it. It was the shortest match of the night. It felt like, hey, let's get all our moves in. And Theory allowed Bobby Lashley to spear Bronson Reed, throws Bobby Lashley outside the ring, and covers Bronson Reed. Such a heel move.
Very much.
But looking at this SmackDown roster now, do you think Bobby Lashley's next in line for Theory's title, or should they go a different direction?
You're going to laugh at me when I say this, but I think put Bronson Reed in the rivalry with Austin Theory. I think so.
Bronson being on Raw?
I mean, you know, why not? You know, you never know. It could happen.
They are messing with this draft split, whatever.
They really are. They really are. But I would love to have I would love to see it because, you know, Bronson Reed could have easily won. There were chances where Bronson Reed could have stole that match. Could have stole the title from Austin Theory. It was a good idea to have Austin Theory win. It was a great idea to have win it, you know, take it to his show and defend it on the show. Okay, cool. But, you know, Bronson Reed, give the man a nod, see what he can do in a push on the Raw roster. You know, Gunther's Intercontinental title.
Ooh, now that's an idea.
Sitting over there, Gunther, and you got to find who's going to go against Gunther. You have to find out who's going to, and you've got guys to pick. But Bronson Reed had a wonderful match, and let me tell you what, when Bronson Reed hit that moonsault, I thought of Vader. I thought of Bam Bam Bigelow. Rest in peace to both of those guys. I grew up with those guys. I watched those guys. You know, Vader being a wonderful world champion, WCW, going to the WWF also, and then Bam Bam Bigelow with his wonderful work in all of wrestling. Both those guys, you know, gone but not forgotten. But when Bronson Reed hit that moonsault, that's who I thought. I was like, man, you know, big man hitting the moonsault. This was incredible. I mean, it was a great match. Short match, yeah. But it was a great match. I think Bronson Reed needs more singles work. I believe that.
Which you could, and when you brought up Gunther, I thought genius idea right here. Bronson Reed versus Gunther, Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley. And that's your feud. And maybe that's the route you go for night champions here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, it would work. It would work. I think you don't have anything to lose with those gimmicks right there. You have nothing to lose with them. None at all.
And now this next match felt like they had nothing to lose. That it really needed a throwaway, hey, Zelina Vega's in her hometown of Puerto Rico. Rhea Ripley needs somebody to beat. Let's put Zelina in her hometown, and the hometown curse continues. Sami Zayn losing in Montreal, going all the way back to 06, where Edge lost in his hometown of Toronto, Cena lost in his hometown, Boston. That feud, there's just a curse around hometown. Here, there really is.
It is. No, you're right. You're right. That's why I laughed. You're right. You're right.
But Malachi Black, formerly known as Aleister Black in WWE, his wife is Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
Yes.
And he put out a tweet, and I'm paraphrasing on this one. It's like, your moment in the sun, win or loss, this is your moment. And that is what it felt like for Zelina Vega to wrestle in her hometown. She almost retired when, she wasn't getting her opportunity. She kept getting turned down for tryouts for WWE. She almost retired from the game. And then she's wrestling for the SmackDown Women's title in her hometown or in her home country of Puerto Rico, repping the flag well. Her family sitting front row. The entire crowd behind her is a very emotional moment. Shannon, I was really happy for her.
I was too. I mean, for her, she dedicated that match to her daddy, and she looked really well in the ring with Rhea, and it was a good match. It was a very good match. Of course, her taking the title away from Rhea, it wasn't going to happen. But she worked really well in the ring. Give it to her. Hats off. Shout out to her.
Shout to her. Now, the only one thing I would take away from this match wasn't Rhea Ripley. It wasn't Zelina Vega. And I'm a broadcasting guy. I understand slipping or whatever, not having the right words to use in the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, aren't you?
Yeah.
Michael Cole did not use the right word when he mentioned Selena's father. That was the only knock on that the entire time. I'm like,
right.
I looked at Chris. I'm like, did he really just say that?
I was just like,
not the right word.
Cringe. If I got to take it from my 15-year-old niece would have said cringy, very, very cringy.
Now I appreciate Michael Cole though. He is underrated. Everything, and he probably just didn't think not the right word to use when you're talking about somebody's father who passed away in the 9/11 attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.
That
still rough. It was rough, man. It was rough. You just like, oh man, seriously, it's going good, really. Yeah.
As Booker T would say, tell
me
you didn't just say that. Tell me you didn't just say that. Now, you know what? I would have had that reaction.
Yes.
If somebody would have told me last week at this time that Bad Bunny and Damian Priest was going to be the best match of the evening. And here I am 7 days later to say, I can eat my own words.
Eat up, baby.
Eat up my own words. Shannon, this will probably take up. I mean, we're already about 24 minutes into the podcast. We got the hour. This was by far the best, biggest match, period. This made the show.
Yes.
And it started with Damian Priest coming out in all white because he's the hero of this story. And then once Bad Bunny's music hit, the entire place is singing his song.
It was incredible.
He comes out New Jack style, pushing a shopping cart of weapons.
Yes. Yeah, you can tell that Bad Bunny is a wrestling fan. You can tell that he didn't just say one day, hey, I'm going to become a wrestling fan just to push my album. He didn't do that. He did not do. You can tell that he is a wrestling fan. When he had the vest and it had WWF on there, I said, whoa. I said, oh, man.
You had a different reaction than Vince McMahon.
Yes, yes. I know good well he probably was having to feel like he didn't know. There was no way he knew. No way. And but I love that. He come out there, ECW. He was ready. They said street fight. And he bought the street fight. That was great. That was so good. This was booked so well. All the cameos that were being made when all the Judgment Day was in there, Dom and Finn Balor tried to interfere with the match, and then Savio Vega getting involved, another guy from my childhood, Nation of Domination. So yes, I loved every bit of it. Los Boricuas, love that. I mean, for real, great gimmick. Savio Vega did a lot for the wrestling community in Puerto Rico, wrestling in their promotions over the years, getting exposure to WWF. It was great. And Carlito.
I was about to say, you haven't even mentioned the best cameo of the night
coming in there. There was a lot of stuff being talked about this week about Carlito making a return. There were things coming up about Carlito coming back, and man, just this LWO gimmick that they are putting back in has worked wonders. Bridging Dom and Ray into a rivalry, and pushing the younger acts, the younger performers with the LWO, having a counter attack for Judgment Day. It's worked well. Dom probably being one of the toughest heels, probably one of the best heels in all of wrestling right now.
And that's been a topic of conversation where we've needed to have, because he gets booed all the time. But Carlito, when he came out,
yeah,
I feel like Bad Bunny was like a big pop, like a huge pop, like the entire arena.
Right.
But I feel like when Carlito's music hit, that place
went up.
That place lost the roof for the rest of the evening.
It was insane. It was insane. I loved it. It was a big surprise seeing Carlito come out. The match spilled into the crowd. Yeah. All ECW nostalgia coming in there, spilling out into the crowd, making it a real live street fight. That's what did it. And it was great. The fans loved it. Electric fans, once again, these fans were electric. If you missed Backlash, go back and watch it.
If nothing else, just this match, because you mentioned spilling out in the crowd, Bad Bunny being put through the tables by Damian Priest with the Falcon Arrow off the production crates.
Yes.
I mean, and here's the thing is, like, celebrities, my stance. I don't like them in wrestling. Like, I'm a pure wrestling guy. Why would you have celebrities come and just ruin your talent or take a spot away from somebody who's there 365 days a year? Like, I'm usually against it.
Did David Arquette hurt your feelings? Did David Arquette hurt your feelings winning the WCW championship? Did it hurt your feelings? You sound hurt, sir.
I mean, Grant, his movie was pretty good. I've watched that movie over and over and over.
But him winning the World Heavyweight Championship, winning the big gold belt was not good. I was mad at that. So I'm talking about myself, to be honest with you. That was more me than anything.
People keep putting Logan Paul with, like, hey, he needs to win the world title, or he needs to win Money in the Bank and take it everywhere.
Yes. You know what? And I get it. Chill. Stop that right there. Yeah, that, once again, that's how you know who your wrestling fans are. I get it. You got the ratings from the match with him. I get it. But putting that man in a legit championship match, no. I can't see him standing in a ring with any champion. I don't see him standing in the ring with Austin Theory. Definitely not.
Gunther?
No. Why? Why would you? Why?
Not Roman?
No. Why? For what? All for what? So he can win the title for 24 hours and lose it again? Because the crowd's going to hate it? This is why I feel the way I feel. This is why I feel the way I feel. I'm bringing it back. That's why you don't want the Attitude Era back.
That's why you
don't. You don't.
One Shan's favorite takes.
You don't. I'm telling you, you don't want that. No. It's disastrous. It's bad. It's going to be bad for the business. You don't want it.
Well, and Shannon, like, you know, looking back at this match, because I've went back and watched it 3 times.
Yes.
Once with Chris, once by myself, once with my dad.
Yes.
Like, Damian Priest lost this match.
He did.
And it's like, why would you have him lose? But if you look at everything that transpired throughout, Bad Bunny did not put Damian Priest away with just a move or 2.
No.
Like, he destroyed Damian's knee.
Yes.
Damian was an all-star for selling all of this stuff.
He put him in the figure 4, man.
Slice figure 4, almost hat, slice bread.
Yes.
Almost getting kicked out. And then it was a Bunny Destroyer that finally put Damian Priest away.
Finally done it. And
like,
it was a well put together match. No matter what. It was a well put together match. You had the right people to help carry it as well too, because everyone got involved, from everyone from the LWO, everyone from Judgment Day got involved, and that
Puerto Rico's favorites.
Yes, the
Carlito.
Crowd. Yes, like that's what did it, because Damian Priest and Bad Bunny alone would not be able to save this match. You know, bringing Ray and Dom and Finn Balor and Carlito and Savio Vega, that helped. That helped tremendously, because we all know Bad Bunny is a recording artist. Bad Bunny is not a wrestler. We know this. So it makes sense to put actual wrestlers, actual performers in the ring, in that ring to help him out. I mean, big assist to LWO and Judgment Day for doing that. Big assist to the crowd for doing that.
Yeah.
Selling Bad Bunny legitimately as a great performer.
And this probably doesn't work outside Puerto Rico.
No.
If this was Chicago, this would not have went over well.
No. I mean, those fans in Chicago, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Atlanta, maybe Florida, maybe, but that's pushing it, because they have more of a Cuban population than anything. And so that's another thing, you know. So it made sense to put it there. It made sense. It worked. The WWE got this right. You got to give a hats off to everyone involved. Not really a Vince McMahon sighting. Not really. I don't really see a lot of Vince McMahon in this. The Omos match, probably. That's it.
I saw a little Vince.
There's shades of Vince McMahon.
There's a little shades. It feels like shades of Vince McMahon, but it doesn't feel like he has complete control.
Absolutely. I honestly believe that this was a Hunter Hearst Helmsley show. I think it was. And
especially starting with Io and Bianca and how that match went all the way through the end. Honestly, like, after Io Sky's match, after Bad Bunny's match, then you have Bloodline, the Usos and Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Matt Riddle. And this match, to me, felt like a bathroom break. I mean,
this is the part.
It felt like, who has made the Bloodline feel kind of insignificant? I don't know, Shannon, if this is because we've seen this so much over the last, couple months that we're just like kind of like over it. They've been drafted different shows. I like, we've seen various different variations of it from Raw and SmackDown itself. I was just kind of just coasting through this match, just ready for the main event.
Same. I was getting I think I was getting guacamole.
Guacamole?
I think I was getting guacamole. I'm just joking. I'm just playing. I wasn't doing all that. But with that being said, it's time to go. It's time to just go ahead and let it ride. Once again, like you put into perspective, they're on different shows now. you more or less have to put your focus on Roman Reigns with the title, holding the title. I mean, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and the Usos, their rivalry. Okay, cool. They added Matt Riddle into it, which I think Matt Riddle, to me, needs to be on his own because he has a very good opportunity to branch out on his own.
He's getting a single star.
Right. And he's getting more of a serious role. He's got more of a serious role as a wrestler now. I think packaging him with these guys, good idea on paper, not so much.
It's time.
It's time to go. It's a wrap.
And
it was good. It was good. It was good, but all good things must come to an end.
And it's coming to an end, hopefully very soon. Very soon.
Yes.
And honestly, like, the only thing notable in this match was it looked like Solo and Jay were having issues. Solo almost turned on Jay. That's the only thing. It's like, now I'm going to look into SmackDown and, see what happens next as Roman Reigns comes back. And that's what this match needed to do. Like, this was put in by poor booking. They could put the United States title match here. And it's just.
Yeah, because that was a much better match. They could have made that match longer. I really thought that match could have went on a little longer. Omos and Seth Rollins went on for 10 minutes and 31 seconds. And that match was a good match. Yeah. But this one, nah. Next.
Yeah, next to the main event of the evening. That was my best Mark Henry / Michael Davis impression. I kind of combined the two a little bit. But the main event saw Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. It was a shorter match. We had just gotten a 25-minute match with Bad Bunny, a 22-minute match with the Bloodline, to about 10 minutes with Cody and Brock. And it honestly was a typical Brock Lesnar match. Brock, Suplex City, Brock gets busted open from an exposed.
Yeah. With blood all over the place. It was disgusting. I don't. Man, it was.
Yeah, there was no ref stoppage like they did with Finn Balor.
No, I mean, you could tell it was a flop. You can tell it was a flop. Or not a flop, but more or less something that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, or Brock probably just took business into his own hand and said, "I'm gonna bleed if I want to."
Right. I mean, something had to give with this match here. Something had to give. I think Vince McMahon is just taking his frustrations out on Cody some more. I really think he is. I really think he is. I think he's taking his frustrations out on Cody a little bit. Cody, I love Cody. Love him. Dang. It's just
I still hold hope that it's just the story. There's Rhodes bumps in the story.
I don't know, man. I mean, the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to give into the fact that Vince McMahon is probably never going to give Cody Rhodes a chance at the title. He's going to give him a chance. He's going to say, "Here, match for you. Here." And then, like, Cody look wonderful. 18 minutes into the match. Last 2 minutes. He's done. Squash him. Get everybody up here. Give him the Daniel Bryan effect. Crowd up here. Yeah. 2 minutes later, Cody loses again. Seriously, really, really emotional roller coaster.
Emotional roller coaster. No, it's roller coaster. That's what MJS says.
Yes,
the roller coaster.
Emotional.
I was like, that wasn't falling too. That wasn't falling too well off the top.
That's what it's gonna be. Emotional roller coaster. It's done. I really think so. I mean, we're getting baited into this, and with all the merch sales, and Cody getting huge pops and all this other stuff. The Royal Rumble, then WrestleMania. I think Vince McMahon is doing his best Matador impersonation. Toro.
Now,
I think it's what he's doing. I hope I'm wrong. I pray to God I'm wrong. I'd love to see him win the title. I would. But I don't know.
It just feels like they're building story into it. Cody Rhodes is going to face Brock Lesnar again at Nia Champions. I think that's going to be a clean victory for Cody at Nia Champions.
I hope.
That is my assumption from it. I'm hoping Nia Champions just has all the titles being defended.
Yeah.
Rather than just, singles matches sprinkled throughout.
Right.
That's my hope. We've been talking a lot about Backlash. You can catch more of a recap on the Sports Caroline Monthly website, written by yours truly. And this past week, did want to mention, before we get into our next topic, this past week, Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel, the home of the Drop the Mic Wrestling podcast, surpassed 800 subscribers right before Out of Pocket went live Friday at 4. Special thanks to Carson and his Carsonites. I know a lot of them pulled through. I know I had a few people pull through too. Subscribe to the new channel. People are finding us, Shannon, and you've been on both shows, and I'm super excited for the growth the radio station's having now.
All I can say is it's about daggone time.
It's about time.
Yes. Good job, everybody. Good job, everyone, for looking out for this man right here. And, well, actually, this man right here. Whichever way.
I'm the other way. You point that way 3 different times, man.
I'm directionally challenged today. Leave me alone. Okay?
We know.
This man right here, congrats to him. Congrats to everybody on the shows. All his shows have been great. He's not a one-trick pony when it comes down to just talking wrestling. He talks a lot of good football. He talks a lot of good basketball. A lot of good sports topics out there. Give this man and everybody at Tobacco Road Sports Show, give him a spin. Watch, because you might be surprised.
You might be surprised. And I was surprised, Shannon, to see the all-in numbers and the pre-order sales. I've been getting my phone blown up by insider Matt Cosgrove, and he's like, told you. I was going to have him on the show here this week, or maybe we'll have him on next week, just so he can kind of rub it in my face a little bit. Because I kind of deserve it. I kind of deserve it.
I want to see him, man. I want to see him. I want to see him again. We had fun that last time around, but yes,
we did. But all in, it's in London, and we have about 8 minutes or so left on the show. Are you surprised that they have sold, they're selling a lot of pre-sale tickets, man?
Nope. Not surprised.
You're not surprised.
Nope. Now listen, here's why I'm not surprised right here, because All In has had a history of proving the whole wrestling sports entertainment world wrong. Now, this is going to be the first All In that Cody's not involved in. So this is going to be different. Am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised, because I think that AEW now they've got their work cut out for them. With Backlash being so great, with WrestleMania being so great, they got their work cut out for them. They really, really do. But I'm gonna tell you what, they're gonna have to do like my Uncle Richard would say. They got to put their whole foot in this show right here, because if they don't, then a lot of people are gonna be turning to the other brand, turning back to WWE, because right now they're in control.
They are, and that's why I'm saying to people is WWE is the legacy brand. WWE has all the money. WWE has WrestleMania, for crying out loud. That's what everybody watched up, idolizing, wanting to be in there. They have that. AEW is still young, and I really enjoy AEW. I love AEW.
I do too.
Love FTR. Love MJF.
Yes.
Love all those guys. Love the Elite.
Yes.
There is so much to like about AEW. And
absolutely.
Seeing them succeed, Matt Cardona put out a tweet this week of WWE had a really great Backlash. AEW selling a lot of tickets for All In. GCW's touring the world. Impact had a couple big signings. Everyone's thriving, and that's good. There's no reason to be on, I'm Team AEW, so I can't root for WWE or vice versa. Get out of here.
If you're a wrestling fan, you're enjoying it right now. You're having a great time. Cody made a nuance to this a few years back when he was with the Elite on an episode of Being the Elite at one of their live shows, the Global Wars Tour, when he said, remember back in 1996 when wrestling was cool again? Now, you can't tell me right now that wrestling is not cooler now than it was then, because you have everything to watch. You have multiple things to watch. It's incredible. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan right now. It's a wonderful time to be a wrestling fan.
It's a wonderful time to be a wrestling fan. And, with All In, they haven't announced a match. They haven't announced anybody. But it looks more and more like CM Punk's returning.
Oh, yeah.
It looks more and more that Drew McIntyre is on the outs with WWE. He's been pulled from a lot of stuff. He was supposed to be in this World Heavyweight title tournament. That's gone. He was drafted to Raw, last week? 2 weeks ago? There's a lot to be said, and I don't know the exact details of Drew McIntyre's contract expiring, when he could show up to AEW, but if he does, and he shows up at All In, that's huge.
You know what? I said the last time, and of course, when we had the mock draft, I drafted Drew McIntyre because I figured that maybe they would find a spot for him. When I saw that he was a no-show at Backlash, that's when my mind started going. I'm like, I think it's a wrap. So, and the more I look at it now, with that world title picture in AEW, he fit right in. He would fit right in. I think he would. I think he would fit right into that world title picture. Probably not push him in there.
Not too soon.
No, not too soon. The TNT title, might be a good start for him, even though I don't want to leave my man freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. Probably one of my favorite wrestlers right now. I love Orange Cassidy, but I think that he would fit right in with AEW. I think it's a wrap for him in WWE. I really think so. I mean, it was nice.
Weird. It's so weird because he just main event WrestleMania a few years ago.
Right.
I don't understand the reason why he's wanting to leave.
I don't either. I mean, for real, it's not like, I still think he has more potential in WWE than he does AEW. I think he has more potential, as far as being more star power, a title shot right out of the gate. I really think that he would excel. I think he would excel in WWE, but sometimes you can't tell guys anything. You can't tell them nothing. You got these guys, these alpha males, these big egos. They're big guys. They feel like they're the next big thing. They feel like they deserve more. Not saying that he's a greedy man and not saying he doesn't deserve to feel this way, but you got to start looking at the good of the product, where you have more chance to thrive, where you have more of a chance to be great at. Can he be great in AEW? Sure. But will he be greater in AEW than WWE? Debatable.
It really is. And so here we have a couple more minutes left. If Drew McIntyre shows up at All In, who do you want him to wrestle?
Oh, man. Maybe Malachi Black. I would like to see that. Malachi Black. Probably see him in the ring, probably taking a shot at MJF. Taking a shot at him, talking junk to him.
Okay.
See him in the ring with Punk.
Punk and McIntyre would be interesting, to say the least. And there could be a lot of stuff. I would love to see Drew McIntyre as a face and maybe a heel Hangman Page.
Maybe a Wardlow.
Ooh,
maybe. I think him and Wardlow would fit.
Wardlow, that would give Wardlow his first big program too. There's a lot, but they also need to start paying attention to Double or Nothing, because as of now, this could change tonight. Once AEW has their Dynamite episode, they only have one match set up for Double or Nothing. They got the 4 Pillars match. It's pretty obvious who's winning that one. It's pretty obvious, but
Keep the
hey,
title where it's at. Keep it where it's at.
keep it where it's at.
It sounds wonderful. I mean, it sounds wonderful.
It's a great idea.
It is. It's a wonderful idea, man. Having Sammy Guevara, having Darby Allin, having Jungle Boy and MJF. I like it. Wonderful match. Wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Wonderful. But keep the title where it's at. Best
keep
heel
the
in the
title
game.
where it's at. Yeah.
Best heel in the game.
And put some more matches on the card, please,
Absolutely.
so we can talk about it on the show. Hopefully by next week we have some material. Chen, we gotta get out of here. It's part of our Wrestling Wednesday card. Thank you all so much for tuning in on Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast. We'll also have the Cat Cave with Ryan Frick and I on the Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel that you can go check out. Follow Drop the Mic on Facebook and Instagram. We're growing. I'm surprised that we're growing. Tobacco Road Sports Radio, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You can follow them all there as well. We got to get out of here. Shannon, thank you so much for being on the Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast. Tune into Alpago with Michael Davis at 4 p.m. live this Friday on the Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. And whatever you do, don't drop the mic. We will see you all next week.